Hey there guys, CrayDilly26 here from the Pokemon Champions League. I just wanted to go over my draft. A lot of other content creators are going over theirs in their own draft analysis, so I thought I would go ahead and give mine a try. I really enjoyed my draft this season. I only got really hard sniped once, otherwise I pretty much got what I was kind of looking for. I had to make a few adjustments, but I'm really proud of what I made. So let's get into it. This below is the team that I drafted overall. We got Tapu Bulu, Volcanion, Mega Manectric, Scizor, Diggersby, Alolan Muck, Tyrantrum, Mandibuzz, Mesprit, Komala, and Archeops, and then I got Gracium Z. So before I break down into the individual ones, just like as a team as a whole, obviously you can kind of see what I was going for with the core. Tapu Bulu and Volcanion were the core I was aiming for. Obviously Tapu Bulu and Heatran are like ideal, but I figured because I'm in Origins League, which right now is our like good players or the big kids league, I kind of figured that getting Bulu and Heatran was off the table. That's not going to happen. So I aimed a little lower for basically the next best thing to Heatran, and that is Volcanion, which gives me my Grass, Water, Fire core in 2 Pokemon. Just 2, which is really good. There's not much that can hit both of them. Basically what I'm kind of wanted to build around a little was like poison types, because yeah, Volcanion can switch into it, but it doesn't resist it. So Bulu needed a little help there. Obviously getting a steel type, which everyone drafts the steel type, was good. Scizor was mine. Was really strong. Scizor actually wasn't my first pick. As far as steals, I had to switch that around, and that was because a dragon got sniped from me from tier 2. My original steal plan was to get a tier 3 steal. It was either going to be Metagross or Empoleon, was kind of the dream. But I had to change that. There weren't any dragons I wanted after Kyurem and Hydreigon got sniped, so I had to dip down into tier 3 and got Tyrantrum for my dragon, because I still wanted to kind of make sure I had all the cores present, so I still wanted a Fairy Steel Dragon as well. So obviously Bulu fits the Fairy, and then Scizor and Tyrantrum fill out the rest. Still really good defensively, especially Scizor. Scizor is really strong, and really happy about that. Mega Main was also just like the Mega I wanted, and I'm so happy that I went for that on round 3, because I did hear after I picked it some griping. A few people got sniped from that. I almost let it slide, but I couldn't bear to. I really wanted a high speed Pokemon somewhere. I needed it. I know I like Bulkymon, so they're usually slower, so I needed to get some speed on there. And Mega Manectric brings that. He's really good, especially with Intimidate. I just think that's really strong. And obviously Bulu helps him get rid of that Earthquake weakness, which is really nice. As far as my ground type, at first I really debated getting a ground type because of Tapu Bulu, but I figured, you know, ground type is just so good, and I still really need it. So I went with Diggersby, and he was actually my first choice. I figured, especially because I really want these first 3. I could let Diggersby fall a bit and get him later. My backups were things that went earlier even, so like I had Crocodile as like one that I kind of wanted, but Diggersby was like what I really wanted to play with. I think as a ground type, nobody really takes him, so I really wanted to try him out. Alolan Muck was one of my free picks and was my plan the entire time. I had shot this idea to fellow leader and draft coach Hassan, who, this was before we were in Origins. We were in separate leagues first before we made the switch, so I talked him through this, and he was the one that was like, wait, you're building a Bulu team and you're not thinking about Alolan Muck? And I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. And he was like, yeah, and Alolan Muck's gonna fall. And it did. I picked it, I believe, round 9. So near the end, I was finally like, okay, I can't let it slide anymore. I've been getting all these other good picks. I need to sweep him up before anything happens. But I was really glad I let him slide. I got him really late, and it was really nice. Obviously, Tyrantrum was kind of a fallback. Had to switch my Steel and Dragons tiers a bit, which is okay. I still think Tyrantrum is good. I'm very good at using him because I run the Monotype Rock Gym, so I'm okay with it. Obviously, I really wanted Kyurem. I wanted that Ice Dragon. Ice, I think, would have helped my team a lot. But getting a Dragon was more important than the Ice, so I went with Tyrantrum. Mandibuzz, I'm surprised I got. I took it round 4 because it was still there. Round 4. This was right after I lost. I was gonna pick Kyurem round 4 and try to get Mandibuzz round 5, but Kyurem got sniped, so I picked Mandibuzz and took a little time to think about how I was gonna fix things. Mandibuzz, I'm just so happy I got. It's arguably the best tier 3. So strong. Just a really nice bulky mon, a pivot, a defogger. It roosts, it does toxic, it does so much, and it's such a pain for people to get rid of. I really love it, and I obviously needed something that wasn't on the ground. I can't just rely on Tapu Bulu for a lot of this team, so Mandibuzz fit the bill. Tier 4, I went back and forth a lot, actually, with my Tier 4. I'm trying to think what my original idea was actually Bronzong. Even though I already was thinking of other steals in tier 3, I kind of wanted to add Bronzong in just as like another safety net for a steel type, and with Bulu, because with Bulu I wouldn't have to run Levitate on Bronzong, I could run Heat Proof, which just makes, I think, Bronzong a little stronger, and having that really nice Trick Room setter helps out the slower team a lot. So after Bronzong got sniped, I did have to really think about what I wanted. Part of me wanted Shuckle for some webs and another Stealth Rock setter, but after having to get Tyrantrum, I didn't want another rock type because one of my tier 5s was also a rock type. So I didn't go with Shuckle. Instead, I decided to grab Mesprit. I decided to keep the Psychic at least. I think having a Psychic is really good, and I can do a lot with Mesprit. It's a little slower, 80 speed for Psychic types, but I think it's good. It can still set Trick Room. It's a little faster though, so kind of have to play around with it a little. But then with tier 5, I did get my first pick for tier 5, which I really wanted, was Komala as my Rapid Spinner. So good. And I think the stats are pretty insane on it. For a tier 5, it's immune to status. It also gets Wish and U-Turn. So Komala is really good. And then Archeops was my other pick. I wanted to make sure I had at least one other Pokemon that was over 110 or above speed, and Archeops was 110. So it just kind of fills it out a little more, so I'm not just relying on kind of the bulk. I have a little more options, and I think Archeops is really good. It's a glass cannon, obviously. I also picked it because its special attack isn't terrible, and I was lacking a little in the special attack area. Obviously, Volcanion is one of the best special wall breakers you could ask for. And then Manectric is super good special attack, even though its move pool is limited. Everyone else was physical, though. So I think it adds a little bit of depth to my special attack. I can run Specs Archeops if I wanted to really surprise people. It gets some coverage, which is nice. So really happy about that. And then Gracium Z, I picked pretty early, I think round 8, somewhere around there. I picked Gracium Z early because it was the Z Crystal on my mind. I really wanted to get it. I can use it with, obviously, Tapu Bulu, it would be really good. With Komala, actually, he gets Wood Hammer, so that's really, really good. But the main reason I wanted Gracium Z is kind of a Volcanion nuke. He does get Solar Beam, which isn't used very much, so I think that's going to be really, really strong for him, just to have that Solar Beam potential. Just really good. So from here, you kind of saw my overall idea. Obviously, had to switch up. I got Scizor instead of some of the other steel types I was looking for because I lost the dragon I wanted. But I honestly think Scizor brings a lot to the team, so I'm really excited to use him. So we can now break down into the individual Pokemon here. So this again is the team that I picked, and we can kind of just look through. So Bulu was my first choice. Even though I was second pick overall, I didn't go for one of the top 5 Pokemon. I went for Tapu Bulu, which I thought was really strong. Mostly I mean, I've used Tapu Bulu a lot in OU teams, but I think the biggest reason I want a Tapu Bulu is looking through the people that have made the playoffs in Season 1 and Season 2. Tapu Bulu teams always make the playoffs, even though I know Season 2, I think Adam had Bulu, and I kind of was like, he seems a little reliant on it. All his Pokemon are like weak to ground, so he really needs the Tapu Bulu. He still made playoffs and did really well, so I wanted to try it out and you know, just really build a nice team around Tapu Bulu and just bring the strength of being able to like basically get rid of a weakness for a lot of Pokemon. So yeah, obviously Tapu Bulu is much more of a physical attacker. Bandit is really good. Bulk Up is an option. Bulk Up I think is really strong. With Bulu, I've run Bulk Up Bulu a lot actually in some of the teams that I've made. Obviously, the one drawback to Bulu is he does not get a good Fairy Stab move. His only Stab Fairy moves are going to be Specials and then Nature's Madness, which does half damage to your opponent, which can still be okay if you really need it. Obviously, that lets you hit a switch-in Steel type, get them down to half health. That's actually really nice. But I mean, outside of that, what you're really running, you're going to get Stone Edge on Bulu or Rock Slide if you're a little more worried about the accuracy, but Stone Edge is really, really strong. Wood Hammer, obviously, especially with Grassy Z, is a nuke. Zen Headbutt, I've used a lot. Nice coverage. He does get Leech Seed. He gets both screens, which is really interesting. He does have some bulk to him, which is nice, so it'd be nice to be able to maybe set up screens if I need to. Yeah, I mean, his move pool is still pretty decent, even though he doesn't get the Fairy Stab. I think he does have Superpower too. Yes, Superpower and Swords Dance. You don't have to rely on the Bulk Up. You could go Swords Dance if I needed to. Really good Roar. He has a lot of utility options. So I do think, I know Tapu Bulu usually goes later. He's usually still a round 1 pick. But I just really wanted to try him, so I took him a little early. And I think I did snipe a few people that thought he was going to fall. Sorry. Volcanion is a Pokemon I have never, ever used in my life. And I am really excited to get to use him. I think the Fire Water typing is really nice. The stats, we can look over at the stats. You look at that special attack, that is just insane. You max that out, give it a modest nature. You're looking at 394 special attack. That's before you put choice specs on there. That is why he is one of the best special wall breakers in the game. He's so good. And then looking through the moves, he does get Defog. Actually, I'm glad I clicked on that. I learned that after drafting him. I actually didn't know. So I have another Defogger on my team. Not only do I have Scizor and Mandibuzz for Defog, but Volcanion gets Defog too. It's really good. He's also Haze. Haze can be good if you're really worried about the setups. And again, even though his special attack is 130, look at that attack stat. That attack is 110. You could max that out. 316 is not bad. That's actually really good. So you could even run a mixed, say, Assault Vest Volcanion. Really surprise some people. Obviously, I'm probably not going to run Earthquake a lot with Bulu on the team. Earth Power is really nice, though. But, I mean, he's not... I mean, he has a decent move pool on the physical side, too. Flare Blitz. Super good move. Could really take people by surprise with that. Stone Edge, obviously. Really, really good. Obviously, on the special side, the coverage move you really want is that poison moves, which is really good. Sleep Talk is nice, and Rest. You can run a Rest Talk set. There's a lot of stuff I'm thinking about. I don't want to give away too much. Obviously, the selling point, though, for Volcanion is the Steam Eruption, its very own move. 110 power, 95 accuracy. So, to put into perspective, that is the same power as Hydro Pump, but 95% accuracy. It's a huge accuracy boost, and a 30% chance to burn. So you basically have a Hydro Pump powered Scald, which is just so good, and even if something switches into it that resists it, there's that burn chance. That's why Volcanion is so good, and that's why I think we really put him in tier 1. Season 1, obviously he was tier 2 because he was in UU. We just kind of used Smogon tiers, and we've shifted things a lot since then, and Volcanion is really good as a tier 1. Just because of that, because he's a great wall breaker, because the Steam Eruption move, no matter what is switching in, there's that burn chance. It's just really nice. Mega Main Ectric, obviously I got for the speed. You can see here, 135 speed, 135 special attack is insane. Few things are going to outspeed that don't have a scarf, which is really nice for me. And you look at the moves though, and like I had said in the Mega video that I did where I looked through the different tiers, Mega Main's issue and why I didn't put him as the best tier 2 Mega is the move pool. You're going to run Flamethrower, you're going to run Hidden Power Ice, and you're going to run Thunderbolt and Volt Switch. That's your move set. You can change up the Hidden Power. Otherwise, there's not. I mean, Signal Beam can be really techy if you need to take out a Psychic type or a Dark type, but that's it, really. Mega Main's not going to do too much. He's got some physical moves, but 75 attack just isn't enough. You can't put an item on it. I don't think it gets Sword Dance off. I really don't. Yeah, it doesn't get Sword Dance. Like, there's no reason to really run a physical set on Mega Main Ectric. I just don't see it happening. He does get the Ice Fang, Fire Fang. Not bad. I think the real selling point though to getting Mega Main was the Intimidate. I always drafted Intimidate. Always. Season 1 I had Crocodile, which was really good, and then Season 2 I had Grand Bull, which obviously it was a tier 5. I didn't bring it as much, but I brought it when I needed it, and I think it really paid off. Grand Bull actually won me one of my games last season. Fairy MZ, I think Grand Bull is what I brought, and I mean the Intimidate just helps so much to check things, force them out, and then you can really nuke with that Fairy MZ. But for this season I decided to go with a fast Intimidate, and I went with the Mega just because I wanted to get not only my Intimidate out of the way but also my Electric type. Just because Electric types are so sought after, there's not that many actually good fast Electric types. Everyone wants the really fast Electric types, which is, they're good. Jolteon is one of the best tier 3s easily. There's Raikou, there's Tapu Koko and Zeraora in tier 1, and like that's it. And I really wanted to make sure I had the speed, so Mega Main Ectric, it's like as long as I could get it round 3, I got it out of the way. I got my Electric type, I got my Intimidate, I don't need to worry about it anymore, and everyone else can kind of fight over the Electric types, which is what we saw. Like, as soon as an Electric type goes, everyone's like, ah, sniped. You know, when Jolteon gets picked, when Raikou gets picked, it's like, ah, dang it. There goes one of the very few good Electric types. So getting Mega Main, I thought, was just really nice and just got it out of the way. So I think it's still good. He's a little predictable, but the coverage is still decent. I think it's pretty good. Scizor, obviously I don't need to go too much into Scizor. Everyone knows Scizor. 130 attack is just bonkers on a Steelmon. 100 defense too. He can take hits. Technician, boosting that bullet punch is just insane. So that 40 power Technician doubles that, so it's an 80 power. Right, it's double, right? Pokemon, 1.5 times, so not double, but 1.5 times is boosting it to a 60. Bullet Punch, that's really good, though. That's really strong. Defog is another reason to get Scizor. It's just such a nice tech move to be able to run on him. U-turn, always great. Always have U-turners. I think I made it my goal to get at least 2. I think I ended up with like 5 turners. Obviously Mega Main was one of them that I really wanted. And honestly Archeops and Komala were 2 other ones. Then I ended up with Mesprit that also has it, and now Scizor has U-turn. Lots of pivots. Pivots are always good. Another thing that I've been looking at with Scizor, he does get Tailwind. I think Tailwind could help his team a lot. I didn't get the webs that I kind of was thinking about. Obviously thinking Shuckle for my tier 4, I kind of was looking at the webs, but I think Tailwind with U-turn can help a lot. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, everyone knows Scizor, Roost, Swords Dance, and 2 moves. It's just always really strong offense. So now we get to Alola Muck. The poison touch ability is pretty nice, so you can poison things when you hit them. It's just kind of a nice little ability. I don't think it's what really makes Alola Muck stand out. More so it's the typing. His only weakness is ground. So, on Tapu Bulu team, Alola Muck is really going to be good. Those earthquakes aren't going to hit very hard. You've got to tech some other things on your team. The other thing that's really, really good about Alola Muck, obviously, is the stab knockoff, being a dark type. So knockoff is just one of the strongest moves. I've always said it time and time again. I think some people might disagree with me, but I still think it is one of the strongest moves in draft. It's one of the best things you can do. It's just so good to be able to get rid of items. Anytime anyone's running anything that has Eviolite, you want a knockoff on your team. You have to. You gotta run it to get rid of that item so that it just nullifies what they're trying to do. And then obviously Gunk Shot is just such an incredible stab move. 120 power. The accuracy is 80. I mean, it's a Hydro Pump accuracy with 10 more power. 30% chance to poison the target. That's so good. There's just a lot going for Alola Muck. I think he's got decent coverage. You're not going to run special really, but I mean, you've got Ice Punch and Fire Punch. Both of those punches just give so much to his ability to really hit things that come in. He does get Rock Polish. I think people forget that a lot. Alola Muck gets Rock Polish. Doubling that speed could maybe give you the edge that you need. Shadow Sneak is another great priority move. Sadly, he doesn't get stabbed with it, but it can hit Psychic types trying to come in maybe hard. Maybe not. He has a Pursuit Trapper too, so that's really good. There's just a lot of different things you can do with this moveset. I really like this moveset, and I think Alola Muck is going to see a lot of usage on my team. I just think I'm going to be able to bring a lot of different sets and really surprise people with it. Again, don't want to give too much away, but there's some really good stuff on there. So Diggersby. Diggersby was one I debated for a while. It's one of those Pokemon that I always am really sad never sees usage. I do think it's a pretty ugly Pokemon. I honestly never really thought I would draft it ever. It just doesn't seem my play style, but I kind of changed my mind after looking through the ground types that I kind of wanted. I really wanted to get one in tier 2. I just was, there's so many good things I wanted on my team. I had to be like, okay, what's gonna fall later? I really want my ground type, but I need it to fall later. I need something I can pick up near the end so I can work around that. And so Diggersby is what came up. Obviously, the popular set, you run Swords Dance, you run Quick Attack, and Return for great stab. Obviously Earthquake is good as long as my Grassy Terrain's not out, otherwise there's other options. He also is another knockoff user, which is good. He is also another U-turn user, which is good. Those two moves are so good and give so much momentum to your teams. He can run Spikes, so that's actually really good. I didn't actually know that until making this video right now. He gets Spikes. Spikes is really nice. Might see that come into play a little bit. Bulk Up is another decent, if you don't want to run Swords Dance, give you a little bit of that bulk that you could need if you're facing a really physical team. Bulk Up and then Quick Attack, whatever they switch in. Obviously watch out for Ghost types. Wild Charge seems like really great. Tech move, Super Power. I mean, it gets really good coverage. I like it. Fire Punch, obviously, Ice Punch. Fire and Ice are two of the best coverage moves, so really good. Love Diggersby after looking through him. Obviously needs huge power to double that attack. 56 is not that great. So coming up next, we have Tyrantrum. So Tyrantrum is a Pokemon I have a lot of experience with, and I mean, it's just really good. Why is that at 0? 31. So maxing out that attack, you get to 375. It's the most common set, obviously. Choice Banded Tyrantrum, I think, saw some OU usage whenever Stall gets really bad. Tyrantrum kind of comes in as just an incredible wall breaker with Head Smash. Head Smash and Rock Head, you don't take the recoil just so good, so strong, hits so hard, you don't care about anything, nothing stands in the way of a Tyrantrum head smash, besides some bulky steals. If you get rid of the steel types, that's fine. If you predict the steel types coming in, he does get Earthquake or Stomp Your Tantrum. Either of those is really going to be good with the Choice Band set. Obviously, outside of Choice Bands, you've got Dragon Dance. The speed is 71, which isn't actually that bad. After a Dragon Dance, I mean, this thing is basically like a Dragon Dance Tyranitar with that kind of speed. So that's not bad. Fire Fang and I think Ice Fang, and if you're running those, you can run Strong Jaw and get a boost off of them. You can also run Crunch with those. Probably not as great. He is a Stealth Rock setter, which is good. As far as dragon moves, obviously Outrage is really strong stab move. You can also run Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw. You're not going to run the special moves on Tyrantrum. Sorry, he does not have a good special attack. I wouldn't do it, probably. Rock Polish, if you don't really need the attack boost from Dragon Dance, I can see Rock Polish, but I really think Dragon Dance is going to be your best bet. There's very few situations where you really need that Rock Polish to get going, I think. Unless you're really worried about a Scarf User, maybe. I think that's about it. Tyrantrum's just really good wall breaker, physical wall breaker. So I've got my physical wall breaker. Obviously, Volcanion is a special wall breaker, really strong offensively here, with a little bit of bulk. Obviously, Tyrantrum's not going to fall too easy. Special bulk is lacking, like most rock types, which is fine. I've got other options for that, but physical bulk is very good. Mandibuzz is definitely my wall. So Defog, super good. Always need a good defogger. Mandibuzz was on my list before I decided to pick up Scizor. Otherwise, I might have, maybe rethought it. But I mean, capitalizing on those defog users just means less people have the good ones, so that's fine with me. Roost, obviously really good. Taunt, Toxic, Knockoff, U-Turn. So it has those two great moves. It's got coverage. You don't really need it. Its offensive stats are very poor. But you can run Brave Bird, get some chip damage. Knockoff, obviously. Stab Knockoff is pretty good. But mostly this thing's going to come in, defog, get rid of whatever your opponent's set up. It can set a Tailwind and U-Turn if you needed to. It can taunt, decent taunt lead. It's a little slower, but it depends on what you really need to work with. It does get Nasty Plot if I decide to be really tricky with it. Obviously Toxic though. Toxic's really good. Just Toxic Stall on it. It's just a really good switch in to be able to pivot. So Mesprit, I picked up on the fly, kind of trying to decide what I really wanted. I know I sniped somebody on that, but what do we? I mean, Mesprit, Uxie, and Azelf just have an incredible move pool, which is why I was like, yeah, I can get that. I think that'll be okay. Makes up for losing Bronzong because I do still get the Trick Room setter. It's a little faster though, so I have to play around with that and see how it works. So much tech though, so much tech. Psychic types get so much fun tools. Thunder Wave, U-Turn, really good. It does get knockoff. Calm Mind sets can be fun. I don't think I'll. There's Healing Wish. Sometimes Healing Wish can be okay. But I'm not really looking at that. Screens is insane with this kind of stats. I mean, you can look at the stats. I didn't show them before. 105s from attack to special defense. A little slower with the speed there. Hit points are fine. I mean, it's basically a Mew with better here, worse speed, worse hit points. So basically it takes a hit there to add 5 here, which is pretty good. Really depending on what you need. But I think the move pool really makes it shine. I think I can do a lot with it. Yeah, not much else with that. It's got move Ice Punch, Fire Punch. Those are both good. With 105 attack, not bad. So let's get into this tier 5. So I talked with someone else about it because I knew they were kind of thinking about this Pokemon too, and it's something that I've never really noticed in tier 5, and surprised it hasn't really been drafted. I think someone drafted it season 1, never really used it, and nobody noticed it, but dang, look at those stats for a tier 5. That's pretty good. 95 special defense, 115 attack is good. It's slow. That's fine. We don't need it to be fast. It's got knockoff. It's got U-turn. The moves I keep saying over and over. Rapid spin. So this is basically a rapid spinner. I always make it my goal to get one rapid spinner at least. I like 2 defogs, but 1 is necessary, and then 1 rapid spinner is necessary for me. So getting Komala was really nice for the rapid spin. Knockoff was really good. Sucker Punch, another great priority move. Swords Dance, obviously crazy. It does get Earthquake, which I think is hilarious. Acrobatics. This sleepy little dude. It's acrobatics. Play rough. So that kind of makes up for my Tapu Bulu not having play rough. Iron Head is good. Wish. I think Wish is insane that it gets Wish. This thing just gets so... After looking through the move pool, I was so sold on it. Like, I was just like, yes, Komala is what I need. I did pick it a little earlier than maybe I needed to. I wasn't sure if anyone else was looking at Komala. I was hoping nobody was, but I decided to take it a little earlier than I thought. I think I picked it before Alola even. Just because I just really wanted it. I wanted to try out this fun little Pokemon. Just so many cool moves, and his ability, he is immune to status. Immune. No toxic, no sleep, no nothing. I can switch him in on any toxic stall, and they cannot touch him. And I can start setting up Swords Dances and Sucker Punch and knocking everything off. Like, I think Komala is really great. And I'm thinking maybe after this season he might get moved. We'll have to see how me and Jane do with Komala, but just looking through the moves and looking at the stats, I do think it's a little more tier 4 kind of Pokemon. But we'll see. I mean, I think it's still good to leave good things in tier 5. We'll just have to see how much it can actually do. And then last, I picked Archeops. So Archeops is one of my favorites as a rock user. I like Archeops. I knew it was there. I knew it was going to be there late. I picked it up as my very last pick. I was the very last pick in the draft. Archeops was that very last pick. So the problem with Archeops and why it's tier 5, you look at those stats and you're like, oh my gosh, that thing is so good. It's a great glass cannon. Why is it so bad? Defeatist. Defeatist is having its attack stats when its hit points is half. So while its hit points are half, this attack goes to 70, and the special attack just goes to unusability basically. Speed is 110, attack is 140. Those are just great stats. It is another defogger, which is really decent tech. What you really want though, I mean, any Archeops set sadly is going to have to run Roost because of this Defeatist. If you switch in, if you're not able to spin away their rocks, you have to switch in on a Stealth Rock and that drops you below. You're gonna have to Roost while they switch out. Hopefully you have the coverage to make up for that. Archeops does get U-turn and knockoff, the 2 moves I talk about all the time. And I mean, just other great coverage. It does get Head Smash, which another reason to run Roost. You're gonna take some recoil if you run that. Just because it's so much stronger than Stone Edge. 150 power coming off of 140 attack and 110 speed is insane. That's higher attack than Tyrantrum. This thing is going to hit harder than a Tyrantrum with Head Smash. It's just going to take some recoil from it. It does get quick attack. Not terrible. No Swords Dance, so it does get... where is it? Hone Claws. That's it. Which is a move that a lot of people run in Aerodactyl. It helps a lot if you're running Stone Edge. You can switch in and get your Hone Claws up before they switch anything in. And obviously, Stone Edge isn't going to miss a lot of things as far as coverage. Like Stone Edge, rock moves are really good coverage. Very few things resist them. Zen Headbutt seems decent. Tailwind, there's options. You can substitute to get behind a wall to protect him from the Defeatist. You know, lots of things you can do. And the special attack too, 112. You can run a special set easily on this thing and run any of the hidden powers. It gets Focus Blast, Heat Wave, Dragon Pulse. It's not bad. Earth Power, I think, is a huge one that it gets on the special move pool. It's basically it, but I think that's good enough. I mean, obviously Roost is going to take up one of your moves, so you run Roost, and then you throw on Focus Blast, Earth Power, and a Hidden Power. roll with it. Sadly, it doesn't get Power Gem. It doesn't look like it gets Air Slash, which is a bummer. You could run Ancient Power, try to get that little boost. That's a risky move, though. I don't like it. But I think it's really, really strong. I think Archeops is a great tier 5 if you're looking for that little bit of speed and attack on your team. So it kind of rounded out my speed tier a little bit. Obviously Mega Man being the main one. I want something else, even though I'm going bulky, just to be able to hit. So I think that is it for my draft analysis. I think I did pretty good. Again, I had to change things up during it just to switch Kyurem and Scizor and then pick up Tyrantrum instead of tier 3 steel, which was going to be Metagross or Empoleon. I'm not sure which one was still available at that time, but that's kind of what I was aiming for. But other than having to switch those, I still think Scizor is strong enough. I'm not sure how well Tyrantrum's going to do in the Dragon spot, but I think it'll be good enough. But yeah, I pretty much got what I wanted, which is why I think my draft is pretty strong. It'll be interesting to see what people come up with against me, and I will be trying very hard this season. I know I will. You can tell by this team, I think I am going with a very try-hard team instead of the Rain I went with last season, which still did pretty good. I think I really just want to do well and prove that I belong in Origins, because I do think I kind of slid in, because I always get in like 4th seed in the playoffs, and last season I did make it to the semifinals though, which is pretty good. So hopefully I make the finals this season. I'm going to try really hard. I gotta play against the toughest players, which is honestly going to be really fun, and it's going to be a really great challenge, so I'm very excited. I hope you guys enjoyed my analysis, learned a little bit about some of the Pokemon I picked and what kind of went through my mind while I was picking during the draft. Hopefully this helps you guys, and pretty soon I will be doing a full draft analysis. Obviously not as in-depth as I went on my team, but just a draft analysis of the Origins League overall and kind of rating people and putting them where I think they maybe should go. So that should be it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a good day.